Hello friends, family and other creatures of the sea, and welcome back to another high-level game of StarCraft 2. Today, in the top left, spawning as the Blue Zerg player playing for Team ENS. It is Serral. He opened up with a 17 pool here, into a hatchery, then a gas. As his opponent is our main man, XCOM's Elazer. XCOM AGO Elazer. Used to be in Clash, but not anymore for, I think, 2.5 or 3 years now. So I'm a little bit outdated with my information. It is what it is. Anyway, Elazer, known in the European scene as an absolute wild card. Not just a wild card. He's just a wild one in general. He plays random things. He does them very quickly, very accurately. The random builds that he plays are extremely well executed, and they are tight. He has tight build orders, but they often lack any type of logic whatsoever. So he'll do something weird very, very well. And that is the difference between him and someone that maybe is just regular cheesy. Elazer loves to do these random timings that at face value are difficult to understand. And as a result of that, we see Serral opening up with 4 blind links and with that pool first, which gives Elazer a little bit of a lead if he doesn't take any major damage. And honestly, he shouldn't against, I think this was a 16 pool. He shouldn't take any major damage. And in that case, Elazer is just going into this early game a little bit ahead in the worker count, a little more money. We see his speed is also faster. Serral hasn't started his speed quite yet. Also means that Serral's Baneling Nest is going to be delayed. I'm starting to wonder whether Serral actually wants to get a Baneling Nest and speed, as he hasn't started speed yet. We currently have a lot of money in the bank. This is a little bit odd. Is this just going to be a 2-base opener here out of Serral? It is completely possible. Evo Chamber first out of Elazer, throws down the Roach Warren as well. So you see Elazer opening up with speed. What is this? This looks a lot like a 2-base opener, but I can't recall building speed with this. Elazer probably is just afraid currently of some type of attack. He must be kind of confused here, as am I, honestly. Quick Lair is going to be the tech choice for Serral. Gets 2 gases in the natural. To me, this seems to either be a Nidus, but as there's no Roach Warden, it can't really be a Nidus. Okay, it might still be a Nidus. Isn't the Roach Warden a bit late then? Most likely just Mura, right? I'm looking at this and I'm feeling Mura. But then again, why does he start his +1 range? He's gonna need to cancel that to afford the Spire, that's for sure. It is just a really, really quick lair. Serral is going to... well, we're gonna figure it out soon, whether he starts Roach speed or a Spire now. We do see a second Evo Chamber on the way. Both players kind of playing a similar build order, but just a slightly different flavor of the build order, you know? Both of them are drinking their monster energy, but one is getting the green one and the other the white one. As they open up with that 2-base start. Also going into 4 gases. Here is Elazer. It seems like it's just going to be a Roach Mirror. Elazer a little bit behind in the drone count, as he probably was afraid of whatever it was that Serral was doing. This has been a very confusing game as an observer. I can't even imagine what both of these players are currently thinking. Carapace first is what Elazer opted for. Overseer is on the way. We'll try to get a scout in. This lair is just extremely late as well for Elazer, right? It's not like he can get a Spire with this. This is not a Spire lair. This is a lair that says I want to get Roach speed at some point in my life. It probably has to be semi-soon. So Lynx are looking for an opportunity, a window of opportunity. They're not quite going to find it. Carapace on the way as well here for Serral. Honestly, faster 3rd base for Elazer, who now starts mining with more drones as well. We see a slight income difference. Upgrades, sure, they're in favor of Serral, but unless Serral manages to use that upgrade advantage, actually kind of like Elazer's position here, as his lair finishes up, he has a bunch of money in the bank for that Roach speed, +2 so Reading Strike, 5 Overlords. Hello Elazer, what are we doing here? This usually indicates a large swell of Roaches. And now he builds 4 drones. Okay, well... I'm getting more and more confused the more I'm seeing. I feel like he's trying to fake out his opponent. Now he builds a bunch of Ravagers as well. 6 Ravagers on the way. He also just finished up another round of 5. I'm not sure whether Elazer is planning on attacking or he wants these Ravagers in defense. Like, okay, he gets 4 more drones as well. Honestly, he's very far up in workers at this point. The only problem really is going to be the upgrade. He's going to be down a full upgrade by the time the +2 finishes up for Serral. And it's going to be pretty darn painful. Roach speed is already finished here for Serral as well. Sure, the supply is in favor of Elazer, and that will remain the case as he just keeps mining more and more than his opponent. Elazer takes gas 5 and 6. As we see potential for other gas sinks coming up right now. Burrow as well as tunneling claws. And this is one of the tools that Serral absolutely loves to use to outplay his opponents. Serral, to be quite honest, is just one of the fastest players in the game. And if not one of the fastest, he probably actually is just the fastest, actually. Probably the fastest player in the game. And when it comes to multitasking and setting up these type of run-bys with Roaches, he's just so good at it. So he likes to get into that phase. He loves to get tunneling claws. He loves to get the Burrow, to just start kind of splitting his army better than his opponents can. As long as he can stay alive till that point, I think Serral is going to be just fine. Pneumatized Carapace on the way as well, which is of course the Overlord speeder. Fort base being taken for Serral. Elazer was a little bit quicker. Also has a couple of queens just roaming on the map right now, taking out Overlords. There's 5 queens for Elazer against the 4 of Serral. You see Elazer right now just getting that +2. Elazer seems to be clearing a path for an attack. He's up 30 army supply, but he can't really attack into his opponent, who has missile attacks level 2 already done. Also, we need to be aware of the fact that there most likely is going to be some type of run-bys in the near future. I like that these Roaches got burrowed preemptively, and in the moment the tunneling claws finishes, you can start moving them around. That's most likely what's going to be happening here. As it's going to be a Roachy game. Overseer's going to get taken out here by the Queen. And the first 5 underground warriors are looking for an angle. I don't think they're quite going to find it. I saw a bit of an army ready already here for Elazer. With that Overseer, a couple of links. We see that Roach as well. So Elazer is very well aware of what is going on. He starts marching across the map now with queens. Starts spreading creep in the middle of the map for a little bit of extra vision. These Roaches are just going to get caught if Serral isn't careful. That's a lot of supply though here for Elazer, honestly. Kind of surprised by that. How much supply he has on top of this ramp. This is what? This is like legit 15 Roaches. This is more than... This is like 16, 17, 18 Roaches or so. This is 18 Roaches. And there's a bunch of links, so that's a lot of supply. Now he's going to move all of it away to chase the Overseer. I'm not quite sure why he did that. At the same time, I think Serral is winning the fight here, because Serral obviously has more Roaches over here. It's a very odd game so far, which has been relatively passive. That's of course fine. Not everything needs to be about fighting. They're just posturing a bit, trying to force out units that the other player doesn't want. We now have the Lurker then on the way for Elazer, as well as the Hive. Serral once again a little bit behind when it comes to the tech, a little bit behind with the money as well. But I do think Serral, he seems to have control of this situation. I'm not worried for him whatsoever. Okay, he's very good in this type of scenario. Here come a couple of Biles. Elazer actually getting a bunch of big hits, but this army just seems to be way too small. Missile attacks level 2 now finishing up for the Polish Zerg player. Needs to start reinforcing this position, and at the same time as we see that happen, Serral realizes he's winning the fight, sends in these 5 Roaches. Elazer was ready the entire time, and the moment he pulls the trigger to go across the map with a large part of his force, these Roaches of course get into the natural and they start dealing a crap ton of damage. 9 workers going down, 10 workers going down. 3 more Roaches are getting split off, and this is where the chaos starts. We immediately see 8, 9 Roaches being burrowed again. Ground 2 Carapace is finishing up as well. These Roaches in the main are still going to be doing some damage. Do we have another split off? We still have 2 Roaches here. Kind of hidden. I don't think Elazer is aware of that. Elazer not doing a great job cleaning up. Look how much supply Elazer is using for a mere 2 Roaches. Has his army split in 2. I think the army needs to be split in 3 as we need a way smaller force. Now these Roaches are going to unburrow here once again. And Elazer Well, once again, we'll need to just go for a split off. This time it's a better split off. He splits off just 5 roaches. There, however, is no overseer here, so these bad boys can burrow one more time, and that's exactly what Serral does. Elazer pulls a lot of the roaches back. As once again, Serral posturing at the front. At the same time, there's still a single roach at this fourth base. And this is what I was talking about. If you start multitasking against Serral, you better bring your third hand to the fight, because with just 2 hands, you're not going to succeed. And that's what we're seeing here, as Elazer, before all of this, was up about 2k in bank, had the faster upgrades going, had the faster hive, had the faster lurker than. Right now, however, it's Serral that's in the lead. He has more workers, has a bigger bank, has the 8 gases already. So, killed a crap ton of workers as well. 22 workers going down, and majority of that was in the past 2 minutes. Elazer getting caught off guard here, not really paying attention to his army. As when the action starts with Serral, it never really seems to end. Sends a couple of roaches once again into this fourth base. Elazer, of course, is not ready for that, as this is the first run by that Elazer is doing, and doesn't quite get the cancel here on this base. And Serral will be home in time as well to deal with this. There's no tunneling claws, there's no burrow even for these roaches, so these roaches are running into a dead end, basically. This will be it for them. Might be capable of sniping a couple of workers, maybe even want to be going for a lurker then, rather than trying to trade out against these units. At the same time, once again, 4 roaches sneaking into the natural of Elazer. Elazer still doesn't have gas. 7 and 8. He's trying to deal some damage here on the other side of the fourth base as well. So these 4 roaches will take out this spine. Some individual roach micro, I think, to dodge a spine shot. I've seen a lot of stupid stuff, and that definitely was something that, if it was anyone else, I would say that's a waste of APM. You could be using that somewhere else, but I know how quick Serral is. So he probably was doing some solid macro moves at the same time as well. No issues there, these roaches. He's actually getting in a pretty decent position. If you could snipe an Evo chamber here, that could be huge. So Elazer seems to have kind of cracked Serral at home. At the same time, Elazer also is getting cracked at home and actually is losing his Evo chambers already. So 3-3 is going to get denied. At the same time, Serral will barely manage to hold on to his Evo chambers. Catches a couple of biles straight into the face. This Evo chamber is the most important one, of course. The +3 carapace hydras of Elazer, dealing a lot of damage. At the same time, Elazer also seems to be defending at home. I'm not quite sure how this is happening, but Elazer just in a great position all of a sudden. The supply doesn't seem to really tell that story, but that's because there's about 30 roaches currently in production. Once these finish, and once these kind of get together, I think this army will get pushed back. But there's still a lot of money in the bank, or there was a lot of money in the bank here for Elazer, who now immediately builds 13 hydras. And once the dust settles, we can make up the balance here. And I think that is that right now. Although Serral lost the base, his eco is better, and he is the only player that has the 3-3 upgrades. However, there is no lurkers whatsoever yet for Serral. Once these hydras will finish, the lurkers will start as well. But there's already 10 lurkers here for Elazer, and he's getting 4 more. If Elazer can get into a position right now, within the next 10-15 seconds, that would be absolutely huge. He needs to start running for it though, because the moment Serral's lurkers finish up, and once the Viper battle starts, I think once again Serral's just going to be favored. He's great at that Viper lurker control. But right now he just doesn't have the numbers. I just don't think he has the numbers. There's 3 defensive lurkers here. There's 10 aggressive lurkers here for Elazer. Elazer can just move in, I almost feel like, into this position. He's going for a snipe on one of these lurkers. Just a good angle here. Fourth base is going to get taken out. This third base is also under siege. Single lurker will do a little bit of damage. There's no overseer here. Serral's out of detection. And Elazer realizes that, starts moving forward. Is there adaptive talents? Yes, there is for both players. Once again, Elazer's going to move forward. These lurkers are going to take a big hit. I'm not quite sure if Serral can break this position. There's still some units here on this top side as well. Good spread on the units here for Serral, but he doesn't want to continue moving forward. At the same time, we have these burrowed roaches still dealing damage on the other side of the map. Elazer lost 21 workers during all of this. I didn't notice it, because I was too busy looking at the lurkers and counting lurkers. Elazer also didn't really seem to have noticed. These roaches are going to finally get taken out. No, still another burrow in there for Serral. This bad boy, we need to take it out, Elazer. We need to take it out. Okay, there it goes, finally. Okay. So what ends up happening here? We have 19 workers currently for our Polish Zerg player. We have 39 workers for the Finnish Zerg. We have some slight oversaturation. Well, not really oversaturation. There's just not enough workers to really satisfy the need of all these bases. However, Serral, with just pure long distance mining and a single mining base, is of course mining more than his opponent. This is an issue for Elazer, who right now is also down in the Lurker count. And I feel like he's just waiting for the first Viper to arrive on the field right now. And the moment Serral gets his first few Vipers out, that's when life is going to get truly difficult for Elazer. Like right now it's hard, okay? Don't get me wrong, it's difficult, it's hard. But it's going to get proper difficult. Lurkers get caught here. I think Elazer was trying to catch Serral, but the opposite happened. I like a single Lurker sacrifice, getting a couple of shots in, allowing the other Lurkers to keep moving. At the same time, we have a 2 Lurker snipe with a couple of Roaches. It's not the most efficient snipe, as he did lose 5-6 Roaches as well. Now we see Lurkers chasing Roaches. I always love seeing siege units chase non-siege units. It's an absolute classic at this point with the Lurker. Random Lurker gets taken out. First Viper is out already. Second Viper is on the way. There's not a single Viper out for Elazer. And I think this is where the big difference will be made with the Vipers. Of course, we still have that +2. Oh, he only has +1 carapace. Elazer, that is. I thought he already had +2 carapace. Now he's getting Burrow. That's a little bit surprising. Maybe as a way to counter the harass of his opponent. So he can Burrow his own drones. Rather than having to deal with it by sending units there, he can burrow it, then at least the drones are safe. Because really the story of this game has been Elazer losing 77 workers, taking better fights with the Lurkers and really understanding the timings, but when push comes to shove, economy is pretty important. He's getting back up to those 30 workers. Serral still only on 38. And we do have one extra baser for Elazer, of course, who has this 4th base up. So if he gets to saturate that would be great. He doesn't. He sees the Vipers and he just decides to tap out. Serral wins this game over here on Berlingrad. A very action-packed CVZ with lots of burrowed Roaches. You see, even in the end, Serral was still going ham. Burrow didn't quite finish up for Elazer. All right, that's going to be it for me today. Thanks everyone so much for watching. Hope you did enjoy it. If you did, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hopefully I'll see all of you for a new video. Thank you, and bye-bye.